All right, everyone, welcome back once again. Game 3 of this best of 3 series here out of WCS, the European Championships. Winners round 5, getting very late into this tournament here. First 2 games in this series have been pretty amazing. My co-caster joining me once again, Brandon from Muatorn TV. Dude, game 3, last 2 games, sick. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, it's going to be so good. Actually, it's probably going to be a 2-base on Protoss, but
please don't.
That's because that's how Ohana works.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah. Ohana means family. It also means Century Immortal Push from Protoss.
Yeah. Actually, I looked it up. It's more of an ancient language, but it's actually a legitimate meaning.
Yep, definitely. So, in the top left-hand corner of Ohana, the red Protoss showing us last game that he is definitely capable of taking down one of the top foreign Zergs in the world. He's one of the Warcraft 3 legends, the Orc player. Just kidding, he's a Protoss. He's Grubby.
Well, yeah, he used to play Orc, but his opponent right now, in the bottom right corner of Ohana, we have the Acer.Nerchio, plays for Acer.
Acer.Nerchio.
You ever had an Acer computer?
I have never had an Acer computer.
Me neither. Actually, I always go with Intel.
Yeah, I have a friend that he had a Acer notebook, and he loved it, but I've never actually owned one myself. But I think if I had to get a new laptop, I think Acer would definitely be up there. Their Aspire computers, pretty good.
Yeah, and they're, as far as I know, I mean, they're not like the ridiculous price ones.
No,
like MSI is usually really pricey.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
But yeah,
Grubby actually going to be going for that in-base forge once again. So confident with that build. Happy to see how that worked out, and he does place the Nexus before cannon here, something a little bit different than he did last game. So he's going to drop a cannon immediately after, I would expect. Doesn't want to get too greedy behind this. I would not expect to see a gateway. There it is. The cannon does go down. The hatchery going to go down at a good time here for our Zerg player, as the probe is going to be able to get over there and does scout the hatchery. But that probe was actually pretty late as far as scouting goes. I guess that's kind of why Grubby does this. If he doesn't want to scout, he just goes with the in-base forge because it's safe.
Yeah, exactly. So if you see the buildings late, you can always put down a cannon and just delay with your probes. It's really not a huge deal if you do that. And if he sees that it's just kind of standard play, he puts the pylon down in the front, which really you're going to be building it anyway. If you go forge first, you're going to be building your Nexus on 17. So putting the pylon down doesn't really delay the Nexus by much, but it keeps you safe. So I really like this play. I do it sometimes. I usually, like I said, don't do it on maps like this where you can wall off with 3 buildings. But it's an option if you don't want to scout as early. And Nerchio actually just lost the lane there to that cannon. That's not generally something you want.
Yeah, it's really hard when the cannon is that far back. You try to get up the ramp and you just kind of die.
Yeah.
You can't really pull back by the time you get shot once. You can't really not get shot a second time. But Grubby actually going to be dropping the exact same build order as last game.
Yeah, he's going up to this quick 2 gate. I don't really know. I mean, there aren't many maps or builds that kind of open like this. He can go into Stargate with this just because who really cares? It's the minerals you're using at this point. And with Stargate, you usually do have a little bit of a surplus of minerals unless you're building Void Res. So, it's not a big deal. It's only 150 minerals either way, so it's not going to set any build back by much. But it just, this is how Grubby likes to play. He likes to play really safe. He wants to get that expansion up every time, and he doesn't want to ever lose the 6 pool. So this is one way of doing it, man. If you don't mind playing, but with a tiny bit advantage or disadvantage in the mid game, and by that I mean tiny, tiny, tiny disadvantage, you're able to do this quite easily.
Yeah, and we actually do see the same order of +1 and then Warp Gate coming out of Grubby that we did see in Game 1. So he's opened the same way as Game 2 building-wise, but the same way as Game 1 in terms of upgrades. So we definitely could be looking for an early expansion, which is a little bit interesting because we do see a lot of those 2-base timings here on Ohana, but Ohana is also one of those maps that you're able to expand pretty easily.
I think Grubby's actually going to do a 2-base timing. Look at the gases in the main. There's like 1 probe in each of them, and then in the natural, he's only got 2. So he's actually it's four probe gas income, which is
He's gone up to 7 gates.
Like nothing. So yeah, okay, there
8
are
gates.
7 gates. So I was gonna say he's probably just gonna go mass zealot. This is something Sasa used to do all the time. So I'm super excited.
Yeah, this is what we call the Zealot Dance Party. That is actually the name of this build. I'm not even joking right now.
Is it?
I saw it on Team Liquid like 6 months ago. We did have a canceled gate there. So seeing the amount of Zerglings that were already on the map, Grubby electing to cancel a gate, turning this from an 8 gate all in to more of a 7 gate heavy pressure. Not going quite as all in with this, and we'll see if he puts a couple more probes back on the gas. Nope, still electing to remain just 3 probes on gas for the time being. Zerglings are actually going to make their way in right now, and as he sees a couple of Stalkers coming out right there, he really needs to make sure those Zerglings do not get up, and he does get the surround on the Zerglings. Whew.
Nicely done. He definitely does not want Nerchio to know there's only two probes mining gas in the main. That's a lot of information, and if you see that, you absolutely know something like this is coming. 5 stalkers were just warped in, but that's pretty much the end of Grubby's gas. He's going to be able to warp in like a stalker every round here, so he needs to kill all the roaches with these. Forward pylon taken out by Nerchio there, and shouldn't really, I don't know, man, like this is going to be so hard. It's all going to be about micro.
Yeah,
Will Grubby be able to buffer the Zerglings?
The nice thing for Nerchio is that he's had beautiful creep spread so far. The creep extends all the way to the 3rd and beyond. So he's going to be able to micro those roaches very well on the creep here. And the pylon is actually pretty far away here. So the Zerglings come in right now. Speed's only about halfway done. The Zealots need to get into the front right now, and the Stalkers being a little bit poorly controlled there. But now the Zealots are there in the front. They're buffering appropriately. And Nerchio up by about 30 supply right now, but a lot of it is in drones.
Yeah, and Nerchio's in trouble in that there's rocks in between his natural and his 3rd, so if Grubby can split these up, he's going to be in a good position. The Zealots here are chasing away these roaches, while Stalkers in the main kill drones and queens, so this is really nice by Grubby. I think he's going to be in a good position here if he can keep up this great micro.
Yeah, Grubby microing on multiple fronts right here. The Zealots even managing to make contact onto some of these roaches, but the Zealots that were over there in the 3rd do finally die. The drone's going to be coming off the line right now to try to fight with these units in the main. They do get a surround on a lot of these Zealots, and right now he needs Zealots to buffer a lot of these drones. The Stalkers are actually taking a ton of damage from the drones right now, and as the roaches do come in from the natural and the 3rd, these Stalkers are all going to be pinned, and I think that Nerchio might be able to warp in, or excuse me, produce enough units right now to try to deal with this, but as +1 armor does finish up, these Stalkers are greatly empowered, and all these roaches are going to come in, but they're so low. He needs to be able to pick off all these roaches, but there's simply so many of them, and he has nothing to help for the time being. Zealots over at the 3rd continuing to do damage, but as the Stalkers are pinned into a corner right here, all the Stalkers in the main are going to be taken. Well, maybe not. It looks like there's going to be 2 Stalkers left over, baby. But with the reinforcements, he's going to be able to do a little bit more damage with those. But the Zealots over here in the natural have done a ton of damage, down to just 29 drones for the time being. Stalkers and Zealots over in the 3rd going to be able to do even more damage. 1 Zealot gets to work on some drones as the Stalkers do manage to take down the roaches, down to only 50 supply right now. Nerchio looking like he could die to the 7 gate all in right now from Grubby.
Yeah, it looks like Grubby's just going to be able to momentum his way through this. He's gotten to the point where his economy is better than his opponent's, even though it's only on tier base. And his production is also, good enough so that he can use that full economy. More engagements going on in the main. Some Zealots just chasing roaches away, while Stalkers kill drones and, Zerglings and roaches that are segmented off. But losing these Zealots to roaches doesn't really matter at this point, because it's the Stalkers that are doing the damage, oddly enough, with this huge amount of Zealots. He might actually pick, he's going to go for the hatchery in the natural, which will pretty much put him at a point where he's ahead in both economy and production, which is not where Nerchio wants to be.
Yeah, and with this, the Stalkers definitely able to out-micro these slow roaches for the time being. The lair was finished, but speed was never able to get upgraded. Nerchio, GG's on out of there, and Grubby wins it in a 2-1 series. Beautiful, beautiful game.
Yeah, okay, so Nerchio never actually looked into Grubby's main at all. He didn't even have an Overlord close enough to ever scout those gateways. This is just a lack of scouting. Anyone who calls this imbalance just doesn't understand how important scouting is. Even, hitting vision and looking at Grubby's base was like, he knows there's a nexus there, 2 gates, that's it.
Yeah, that I could definitely agree with you on that. We did actually see Nerchio going for a very early layer before speed. If he had gotten speed first, had
Yeah.
speed 40 seconds earlier, this game might have been a little bit different. If he hadn't been up at 56 drones, if he had been down at, say, 50 drones, might have been different. If there were spine crawlers down, might have been different. But
Yeah, man.
Nerchio got pretty damn greedy right there, and Grubby was able to take that game. He was able to take that series with some gorgeous play. I'm super stoked. I love Grubby. I love Nerchio too, though. So looking forward to casting more of these games.
I love both these players.
Definitely.
Not equally. Grubby will always have a special place for me, just because I was a huge Warcraft 3 fan, and I also play Protoss. But Nerchio's a great player as well.
Yeah.
I believe he also played some War 3. I'm not sure. That's what I heard.
I don't know.
I'm not sure though.
Maybe.
Don't take my word for that.
It's a possibility. All right. We're moving on. I've been your casting host, Beef. Check me out over at youtube.com/beefpie1. Motorin, close it out for us.
All right, man. Well, like Beef was saying, if you want to see more casts like this, definitely subscribe to him and me as well. I will hopefully be able to upload these soon. I'm just trying to get a video editing program, so you can check that out at youtube.com/MuTaran.TV, MUATERAN with TV. And if you don't know what that means or how to spell that, that's trouble. Also Twitter, just at @MuTaran.
All right. We're out of here. We're going to go find another series to cast. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys